Hello, I'm John McNamara. I'm from the Senior Inventors in IBM Hersley, and I'm here today with a number of the team that built MQLight. So welcome everyone to the MQLight Google Hangout. The Hangout's really important to us, particularly for MQLight, as one of the aims is, well, first we want to show off all of our cool stuff in messaging and to put awareness around that, but the second thing we want to do is, well, what we'd really like to do is to work with developers, to talk to them and to get them to engage with us, to help them shape MQLight even more as we go forward. What we really want is to make MQLight the developer technology of choice, and we can do that best by talking to you guys, and so you can help shape that technology going forward. So what I'm going to do now is introduce the team. Rob, can I ask you to kick us off? Can you tell us who you are and what you do at IBM?
Hi, I'm Rob Nicholson. I have the architect role on the product.
Awesome. Alan?
Hi John. So I'm Alan Chatt. I'm the product manager for MQLight and the MQLight service in Bluemix.
Great. Charlie?
Hi John, I'm Charlie Martin and I work in the development team for MQLight.
Fantastic. And Steve?
Hey, I'm Steve Upton and I'm a tester and developer for MQLight.
Awesome. And Dave?
Hi John, I'm David Oliver. I'm a technical author working on the MQLight documentation.
Fantastic. So I guess our first question we should start off with is the obvious one. Rob, what is MQLight?
Thanks, John. So MQLight is a new messaging product from IBM, and it's really focused on solving the problems that developers need to solve as they build applications. It's available both as software and also in the cloud as a service in IBM's Bluemix. We've really focused on making the product easy to get and set up with no install and no configuration.
Fantastic, buddy. So, Alan, can I ask, what sort of problem does it actually solve?
Yeah, good question. So as Rob said, with MQLight, we've been really focused on the problems that developers are facing when they're writing their applications. And so as we set out, we undertook a piece of work to look at, really how developers look at messaging, think about messaging, are using messaging in their applications. And two things came back time and time again. Firstly, to make applications easier to scale as the workload increases. And secondly was about keeping applications really responsive to the end user of those apps. So what we did is we distilled those key aspects down into a set of use cases, and throughout the development of MQLight we've been really focused on making it really easy for developers to incorporate MQLight into their application to solve those kind of problems.
Awesome. Now, Rob, one of the most interesting things about MQLight is it's got this quite peculiar duality to it. Could you talk a bit more about that?
Yeah. So MQLight as a software product is it's a product you download and you run locally. So that means it runs on your laptop, or you can use it for local development. You can even run a small production site on it. MQLight in the cloud has exactly the same APIs for apps to run against, but it's running as a hosted, managed service in Bluemix, and we look after it. We'll manage it, we'll monitor it, so you don't have to worry about those aspects.
Fantastic. Now, Charlie, I know you've been working on this specifically. Can you tell us what the benefit of that is to the developer?
Yeah, sure, John. So really, the benefit is flexibility. So you can start working locally on using the standalone edition of MQLight on your laptop, prototyping some ideas, and then when you want to share your app more widely and have others use it, you can simply push that app to Bluemix and use the Bluemix edition of the service. But you don't need to make any code changes for that. You can really write once and run anywhere. So the choice is yours depending on what you need to do. And I guess the other thing to mention is that Bluemix, comes with the normal benefits of cloud. So you don't have to jump through hoops to get your app running. You don't have to purchase hardware, maintain an infrastructure or administer it. You can just focus on what you're trying to get your app to do.
Sweet, buddy. That sounds awesome. Now, Alan, do you have a particular audience in mind here?
So all the way through this, you've heard us say developer this, developer that. It's for developers. So what we mean by this is basically the people who are actually writing code to solve real problems today. People who want to write this code quicker than anyone else, and they want to get things working as quickly as they can, so that we can iterate over, idea after idea after idea to really get to the point where we're happy with our applications. So these are the kind of people that we have in the front of our mind as we're developing MQLight.
Awesome, buddy. Now, Steve, could you give us a quick peek? Could you show us the goodies?
I can indeed. I'll just try and share my screen with you.
Okay.
So can everyone see a screen in front of them?
I can, mate. Yeah.
Perfect. So this is the first screen you're going to see when you start up MQLight. This is straight out of the box. It'll fire up the web UI in your default browser. And it opens up with on the documentation tab. We've got the tutorials are built right into the UI, so you don't need to leave, you don't need to go to a different site. If you want to learn how something works or how to get started, it's all here. It's literally a two-step process. You download Node, you download the Node module. So one of the examples here is the UI workout. So that's something I'm going to show off even. You'll see it opens, it bounces straight over to the main messages tab, and we've got all the instructions at the bottom here, so you can scroll through them and you can see what's supposed to be happening without even leaving the UI. So I'll close them because no one wants to watch me read out instructions. Instead, I'll actually sort of talk you through the UI. As you can see right now, it's completely empty. Nothing's going on. You've got the senders on the left. There's no senders. The receivers on the right. No receivers. And there's no messages actually being sent in the center. Obviously, this is very interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really quickly show you. This is a little demo which is included in the Node module which you download. So the way you would do that is you just run, and I'll show you empty directory. So npm install MQLight. So no smoke and mirrors. It's all being downloaded right in front of you now. Just takes a couple of seconds to download everything and install it. What we're aiming to do here is make a really Node, a client and a library that fits in with the way that Node developers normally work. Hence why we've hosted on npm.js. So if we just head over into our Node modules, MQLight directory, this is everything you need to start writing MQLight apps. And you'll see that we've got a little samples directory. So if we head in here, we've got a handful of samples. The one I'm interested in is UI workout. So if I run that, you'll see what it does is it starts up a couple of clients, a few receiving clients, a few sending clients. If we head over to the UI, we'll see immediately it's starting to fill up. You'll see senders on the left, receivers on the right, messages in the middle. You'll see how they change color. They start off as white when they haven't been received by anyone, go to blue when they have been. We can click on the clients to filter and see only the messages which they have sent or the messages which they've received. We've got shared destinations over here. We can see who is part of those shares. We can filter this center list of messages by particular topics. We've got loads and loads of great features here. But what I want to do is actually show you a real-world example. I mean, we included this sample in our Node library just because we're really impressed. We are really proud of our UI, and we just want to show it off as much as we can. And let me just quickly show you kind of a real-world situation where this becomes really useful. So I've just killed this client, and you see immediately it's gone to disconnected. So clear history. So we're empty again. Nothing's there. I'll just that. So we are completely empty UI. We head over here. I have written a really basic little app. This is a receiver. All it does is connects a client, starts it up, subscribes to a topic. The topic is my topic, and it just waits for a message. As soon as it receives a message, it'll print out receive message and the message. Really simple. Couldn't really get any simpler. So I'll just start this up quickly. Node my receiver. You'll see it said it started and it's waiting for messages on the topic. If we head over to the UI, immediately we see it on the right. I mean, already the UI is being useful. It's it's being a sanity check. It's telling us, yes, we have actually connected. We're not getting mixed messages here. It's confirming that what we think is happening actually is happening in MQLight. So now if we have a look at the sending application, again, this is another really simple application. Neither of these are longer than 20 lines because we like to show off the MQLight's Node.js API. We think it's really, really simple, so easy to get started, and also really powerful. This is really similar to the previous one. It connects. It uses the ID mySender instead. Subscribes to the same. It connects and it sends instead of receiving. So it just sends a message with a text hello to the same topic. Once it's done, it says I've sent the message. Brilliant. So let's demo that quickly. Node mySender. You'll see it says started on the same service with mySender, and it sent the message. Brilliant. And if we head over here, we'll actually see that it hasn't come through. So what's gone wrong here? And this is a problem that I think we've all had. We've built a big complicated application. In this case, it's 20 lines. It's not very complicated. We've built an application. We've pressed the big red button, and it hasn't worked. The message has been sent off, but it hasn't come out the other end. And you've got questions now. You've got, where did that message go? Did I actually send it? Did it reach MQLight? Did MQLight somehow lose it? Did my receiver somehow lose it? Were they looking in different places? And without MQLight UI, that would be a massive pain to answer that question. We'd have to pick through the code. I mean, here, as I said, it's like 20 lines. It's not that difficult. But I have to pick through. I'd have to be figuring out exactly where the problem is. But if we just head over to the UI, immediately we can see what's happened. We can see on the left, the senders come up, the receivers come up, so they're both connected. That's fine. That makes sense. And the message has arrived in MQLight. But if we mouse over this little icon here, don't know if you can see my tooltip, but it says when this message was sent, there was no destination with a topic pattern that matched the topic for this message. So immediately I know MQLight has just told me what the problem is. It said you've sent a message, but you didn't send it to the right place. It wasn't picked up. And if we actually go in, I can see who the sender was. I can see the topic. I've actually misspelled the topic. This was sent to my topic without an I. And as a result, we have no successful and no pending receivers because no one subscribed to that. What we actually have is my receiver listening on my topic. That is really simple to fix. So if I head on over there, I just add the I. We'll do that again. I send it again, exactly the same thing. It sent the message, everything's fine, but this time it's actually come in on the other end. And we head over and we see the icon's changed. It says the message been received. We can list, we can see who's received it. And just like that, this is a really, really ridiculously simple example. These are 20-line applications. They send, they receive. But this is the kind of problem that developers hit. I mean, obviously we all work in messaging here. I write messaging apps all the time, and I always have this problem because I can't type to save my life. I misspell topics left, right, and center, and I can't tell without MQLight sort of where did I make that misstep. And what MQLight does is it puts all of that information, the information that's actually useful to you as a developer, that actually helps you to solve problems and helps you to be more efficient at running applications and developing them, that you need, and it puts them right at your fingertips. And that really is it. It's a really lovely UI. Obviously, we encourage you to download it and play around with it and sort of see how it can help you as well.
Buddy, that was an awesome demo. Thank you so very much. The real lion's share there of the Hangout, and the hardest job of all is demoing live. So thank you so very much for doing it. Okay, so now then, I'm a developer. I'm interested and keen. I want to get cracking and started right away. Dave, what's my first step? Where do I go?
Hi, thanks, John. So I'm just going to share my screen here as well. And go to the MQLight website. So Steve's demo showed that you can run through several tutorials on the Docs tab of the UI that get you up and running with the UI functionality. And we want the MQLight community to be as collaborative as possible. So the MQLight website has been designed to contain all the information you need to get going and to bring the Hersley lab a bit closer to the user. So the homepage here, you'll find links to the various download packages, there's code samples, and there's links out to the further content. Now I'm going to open up the docs link here, and this should load up. Okay, so on here you'll find everything you'll need to get started with MQLight. We have some concepts and reference material, and then the tutorials that really show end-to-end scenarios that can really help with some problems that you may have been facing with your applications. I'll open up this work or offload one here as an example. So this tutorial goes through some of the concepts relating to how you would want to make your application more responsive. As you go down, there's some graphics that will help you, and as we get down here, you'll find that you get provided all the code that you need to actually run through this yourself. As the product develops and moves forward, we're going to grow this community content and tutorial content alongside the product. So as we kind of learn how the product's being used, we'll tailor the tutorials and the real-life scenarios to how people are actually using the product. So if I go back to the top of the page here, there's some further links out here. We have a forum. So if I open up the forum here, this is where you can interact with fellow MQLight users as well as the development team here in Hursley. And you'll see there's some articles that have been created here. Back onto our docs page here, we have some links at the top. The Hursley team are constantly writing blogs and articles about the product, and this is where you would access those. And the answers link here links out to any questions that you might want the Hursley team to answer about both MQLight and IBM messaging products. You can also reach out and to us and tweet us at MQLight.
That is awesome, fella. Thank you so very much. So we're going to come to the end now of our Hangout, but we had a number of questions from Twitter that I'd like to pose to the team if we could. So we've got a couple from Robopocalypse and Luna. And I guess actually they're kind of a similar sort of question. I guess, Alan, this is going to be for you. Where does MQLight fit in with the IBM messaging technology? And I guess the other question as well that was asked was, what's the difference between MQ and MQLight? And I guess really that's kind of the same kind of question. Could you talk to that for a bit, Alan?
Yeah, sure thing, John. So I guess the answer to this question really lies in how people should be thinking about MQLight and IBM MQ, which is our probably best known and widely used messaging infrastructure that we have from IBM. So in terms of MQ, what you have is an absolutely fantastic and probably the most widely used enterprise messaging backbone for your organization that you could ever hope to get. And this is absolutely fantastic at connecting all of those different mission critical systems in a scalable, reliable and transactional way, but it's connecting together all the different systems within your enterprise. When we think about MQLight, the kind of use cases that we've been talking about here are really, what a developer is thinking about as they're writing their applications. How can their application be, more responsive? How am I going to make this application really easy to scale? Now, the thing that actually links all of these, these products together was the statement of direction we made when we released MQ8, which said that we intend to support the MQLight protocols and API in the MQ product itself. And what benefit this gives you is that you can actually take all of the applications that you've developed and iterated over using MQLight and actually deploy them against your existing MQ infrastructure, should you wish. So in the same way that you could take those applications and deploy them into the cloud, if you have an existing infrastructure in place with MQ, you can just as easily run them against that when we deliver that update to MQ.
That is awesome, Villa. Thank you so very much indeed. We had another question come through, and that is to clarify, when we say that MQLight is a developer-focused technology, what exactly do we mean by that? Alan, I guess that's one for you again.
Sure thing, John. So when we say a developer-focused technology, we're really thinking about this from the point of view of the types of use cases that people have. So what we're not saying is this tool is only for development and leave it alone. It's absolutely also applicable in a kind of suitable production environment. But what we mean by developer technology is the problems that we've set out to solve should resonate with the developers writing these applications. People who are thinking about how does this application remain responsive to my end user? How do I make sure that it's not going to get overloaded when the workload increases? All of these kind of problems that developers have to think about and confront as they're writing their applications. These are the kind of things that we're meaning by developer focused.
Fair play, buddy. And we've got a question from Michael Dagg. So I think this could be for you, Rob. What happens to offloaded or batch messages in the case of failure or a crash? Is there a quality of service or the message just lost? One for you, Rob.
Yeah, so basically if you have the MQLight product, the software product that you download, then the messages would all be stored on the hard drive of the machine that you're running it on. So you're fine as long as you don't lose the hard drive of that machine. We do support at least once and at most once messaging QoS, so we call those QoS 0 and QoS 1. So that deals with messages in flight. And if you're using the Bluemix service, we actually run that pretty much the same way that our MQ customers run their enterprise messaging infrastructure. So everything's replicated. We have failover queue managers, and all the messages are actually persisted out onto a clustered, redundant, replicated file system. So your messages are safe with MQLight.
Sweet. That sounds awesome. Gentlemen, we're coming to the end of the Hangout, so I wanted to say thank you very much for taking the time out. I know you're busy, but to talk to us, it's been fantastic, so thank you very, very much indeed. And thank you to people that are watching on Google+. Thank you for the questions, and thank you for sticking with it. It's a pleasure. It's the first one we've done for MQLight. Hope it's the first of many. Take care now. Cheerio, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.